match, Nightmare in the top left and Maru in the bottom right. This is from the RSL Group B. The second match, first match was Rogue against Solar, I want to say, yeah, which Rogue took quite convincingly. And Maru is sending out a very early SCV. Let's see what he wants to do with this. Across the map here, this looks like a proxy. It could either be a proxy barracks or a proxy, like an engineering bay block, but the engineering bay block I think is gonna be a little bit later, right? So this should be a barracks. And indeed he will slam down the barracks as soon as the depot finishes here. Let's see if he gets a gas. Seems like this SCV just wants to do that exactly, and he's gonna take it. Gateway scout here for Nightmare, it seems. Gonna send out a probe after the gate. Gonna go across the map to see that there's nothing to see on the other side. There's a barracks missing. That means it could be anywhere. Of course you do have these bushes in the main base, by the way, so you need to be a little bit careful that it's not hiding there. But yeah, you should, like, if you're known as a proxy player, you should actually never make your barracks at home. You should always make it in your natural, your third base, or on a map. Maybe only every third time. Then every third time you want to have it in your main base, and the rest of the thirds you actually proxy. And it doesn't even need to be a very committed proxy. It can just be that one Reaper out on the map, and then you just go back and make stuff at home again. So he will find nothing on the other side, or the lack of a barracks I should say. And he's actually scouting around now. Doesn't really see it. He's looking for the Reaper positions, I think. But Maru is actually making Marauders with this, so that's a little bit strange here. Could set up a bunker. There's now the pylon that's generating some vision, but he could always put up a bunker down here. I guess wouldn't do too much. The probes are getting owned. He's gonna wait for 2 Marauders, it seems, and concussive. Go across the map. Yeah, it's a pretty good pylon. He could also just put down a pylon over here, deny the gases or over here or there. I know. There's a few positions you could take. But I guess he's just gonna use the SCV for some tanking, some additional damage. Maybe he can get a block off or something. There's a Zealot. A Zealot can't really do much. But if he chases with the SCV, the Zealot could hit the SCV. Definitely a waste here. Not gonna do that. I think he tried so hard to get it back home that it just didn't work out, and now it looks very funny and stupid. It's gonna throw down a second gate potentially there with that probe. Need to keep an eye on that one. We'll lose the pylon. Maybe he just wants to make another pylon. He is supply blocked. He has a pylon on the way, but man, needs to put some probes here. This could be very dangerous. It's gonna lose the first. Oh no, probe is gonna stay alive, so he loses that SCV. 3 Marauders, they are getting owned by the probe train number. Does get the Stalkers. The SSG battery is about to finish up. Oh, god damn it. He just barely doesn't get that last Stalker. I think he's still gonna get it, but there's another. There was so much time that he bought there. He only lost 2 probes during that whole ring around the roses there, and then there's a Marauder shooting Nexus. It doesn't really do anything. I guess you wouldn't even want to show this one, ideally. Of course, it is working on the Nexus. That means you're putting up like a timer on this, where Nightmare just necessarily needs to come down and do something about this. And the Marauders are gonna catch another Stalker here. And so far we're trading 1 for 1. There's a second gate on the way, though. That should shift the momentum eventually into Nightmare's favor with the second unit production. The probe does confirm the factory. Now the Stalkers do heal with their shields. We kind of need to be aware of that. And the Marauders don't, because there's no medivacs. And now these Marauders are kind of getting cooked. The Stalkers are starting to overpower them. And I think he needs to evacuate there with the barracks very soon. I don't think it's scouted yet, but he knows that way these units are rallying up, kind of where it should be. Now starport on the tech lab. Could be for Ravens or Banshees. Could be for battlecruisers. That would be crazy. I don't think he has the financial freedom to make battlecruisers right now. There is the Cyclone over across the map. It killed a probe. So it didn't get a lock-on the Stalker, that's actually quite huge there. And the barracks is trying to evacuate here, I think. Actually, I don't think it's gonna get out. 5 Stalkers already working. Yeah, Maru thinks the same. Probe's gonna get caught here. This is on the high ground, of course. Better safe than sorry. Maru is already making another barracks. He's trying to hide on top of the pillar. Does he actually? Like, I don't think a barracks can fit that space. Now drop a mule, repair it, and then you just land it and make a marine. Ah, he tries to throw the debris on the robot, but it didn't work out. It still survived. Nothing perfectly crashed. Now there's a Banshee sitting over at this 4th base location. And there's no information for Nightmare. There's actually Cloak coming in here, so you waited for Cloak. The robot just finished up, so no observer. He's shooting the rocks there, trying to be like, hey man, I can shoot at you thing. But that didn't scare Maru at all. He's killing so many workers right now. This is a disaster here for Nightmare. Oh, he finally gets the observer out. Actually, they make so fast right now, it's crazy. But he killed already 7 probes, and there's another Banshee coming into the main base. Actually going into the natural, it seems like. And he knows his observer should be close. The good thing is he did preserve the first Banshee. This one only gets 2 kills, but it's going out as well without really taking that much damage. And he actually makes a 3rd Banshee, that's interesting. You don't really see 3 Banshees, you usually see 1 or 2. 3 is a very odd number. Let's see what he wants to do with that. I mean, you can come in with 3 and you can kind of start to fight Stokes, but not really if there is a shield battery involved. I guess you can kind of drain shield battery energy very, very fast. He actually repaired that Banshee here. And remember, he still has concussive from earlier. He's getting stim right now. Making a few marauders. He has a few tanks set up here. I wonder why this guy's not on the high ground. But there's a hallucination coming in trying to scout. Banshee's actually going across the map. Remember, they do have Cloak. 3 Banshees. They could take on 2 Stalkers. It depends though on the situation and how the Stalkers are standing positioned. And while they fight, if they get healed by the shield battery or not. It's a very tight base here and a very nice Protoss pylon here by Nightmare. The issue though is he's gonna have a tough fight. Like, if the Banshees go over here, they can just kill these probes and he can't really hit them with the Stalkers. He needs to go like from here all the way around, kind of blocking himself. I think Maru already found a really good spot there. Definitely do a little bit more damage. And he's gonna kill those probes like nothing. 6 more do fall here. And we do have the Zealot transition on the way here. Charge is on already done. He's actually getting into Blink. Not sure if I like that one because you wanted to have the Storm, right? You need that AoE. Now we do see the boys. Maru is pushing across the map. He's grabbing the boys. He's actually flanking with the Banshees from the north. And this army is so flimsy here from Nightmare. Banshees are gonna get a lot of value as well. Not letting any Stalker escape. And now suddenly, like, he lost half of the army already. If he had everything together now, it maybe looks a little bit different, but he doesn't have anything here. Seems like he's just about to lose the game. And remember, the Protoss production, it works different now. It works way more like a Terran. There's actually an Archon here in the north. It works way more like a Terran production, where your units are not really gathered up while they are produced. So you kind of need to have the production facilities all together, or you're just gonna have a bad time rallying single-file units into a fight, which is not gonna work out. You're not gonna have that big round of warpins coming in for your flank. It's gonna be like 2 zealots here, 3 zealots over there, 5 zealots from here. Yeah, 5 zealots is a big number, but that's already 10 gate. And if they're not stacked up, Maru just win, by the way. If they're not stacked up, it's very, very difficult for the Protoss to engage, and I feel like that's a concept that the Protoss, of course, know, but it's just difficult to play around, to get used to, because they didn't have to do that. They would just spam a weapon round and come from that side and set up a flank in an instant. Now they have to kind of premeditate flanks and stuff like that. But of course, the units are not as fast as Zerg units. There's no creep they can abuse. So it's way more difficult right now for Protoss to actually engage correctly. And we see that reflected here in Nightmare's play. He had a lot of sloppy unit losses there. And it felt like the reinforcements never really gathered up to a formidable force that was able to put a dent in it all. In the top left, we've got the man in question here, the Protoss in this group. And in the bottom right, the 4th race, I think it's called. That's his name in South Korea. He's the 4th race, Maru. The man who won, I don't know, 6 GSLs in a row or something? 7 maybe? And another proxy? I don't think he's gonna barracks again, right? Yeah, NG Bay. And there's no probe looking for that. The Nightmare apparently is not used to the timings yet. So let's see if he has something to deal with that. He actually he's just scouting this right now, but it's almost done, so he's just gonna pull away and go for the 3rd base instead. Probe's gonna leave there from the main base. This one got cancelled. The Maru is gonna go inside the main as well. We do see cybernetics go on the way here finally from Nightmare, but that felt a little bit late, all things considered. Now this is a thing, you don't think too much about this, but it's actually a really big deal, because look at the miners that are currently on the minerals. It's not fully saturated here for Nightmare. So what you do by forcing this out, you also keep this probe from properly returning and getting back to mining, right? So as stupid as this sounds, it is even stronger than it used to be, the NG Bay block, because you are keeping the Protoss off way more minerals. Reaper coming in right now here. Stalker's a little bit late, it seems like. The Chrono Boost is gonna push that out very fast though now. And he will be able to fend off the Reaper. No kills here for Maru. And again, a fast concussive build. Marauders, this time from home though. And after a Reaper, so that's something I have not really seen in one-on-one. The fun thing is, it is kind of a very common strategy in team games. Okay, hear me out on this one. I know I lost you guys with team games, or maybe strategy, but hear me out here for a second. What you did was, in the team games, you'd go for your 1-Rex expand, then you'd push out 2 more barracks and you would get a fast tech lab and get the fast marauder with concussive. So you'd have a Reaper, a couple marauders with concussives, and then you would continue to make on Marauder Marine and try to ramp up an army like that. And you would try to catch stray units on the map that were trying to come across. You'd have like a fighting force, you'd have the utility from the slow, which you see right now here. This time we're focusing on probes, by the way, it seems like. He gets 3, the Reaper does get killed off. And the Marauders are not gonna get home. Oh no. So I actually don't like that push out at all. I think what you want to do is you want to kind of hold a ramp. And if anything comes up, you're gonna take that. You just got a full commit on that. You're trying to trade for units. And trying to just keep on growing the army to have a very strong mid-game push. Where you don't even try to drop, but you just go frontal with a medevacs, double medevac, and then you just go after stim. You still have the Marauders for some beefiness, you have their utility with the slow. So you have a super formidable army in the mid game. But Maru did decide to sacrifice the Marauder for some early economic damage. Which he unfortunately did not really get that much. I feel though, still that eBay block was very powerful, and I think it's a little bit underestimated how strong it is right now. Even though I say that, it is kind of a ripple effect. It's very difficult to really see. There's a proxy pylon, so we're gonna get some warp gates, I guess. Oh, he already has the warp gates. Okay, there we go. But it's like something, a little bit of a ripple effect. Where that one probe not mining. I mean, if you have only 14 probes on minerals and a 15th one is not mining, you're not optimized yet on the 16 for your Patrius. He's making a cost for high ground vision, I guess. But yeah, so like you're taking away what? It's not 10%, but it's a pretty big chunk of that income, like 8% or something, by keeping that one probe from actually getting back to gathering. So it's like, it's a very, very big ripple effect there, I feel like, which is tough to see at first, but then all of the timings get pushed back for like 2, 3, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and suddenly something that should have already ramped up is not gonna be in time for this move out here, which Maru is doing right now. Will not, I guess he will, yeah, he will see the army, so he will reveal it. And Nightmare's trying to greet this, he gets some good force fields. Medevac's a little bit slow to the party, so half of the army is gonna get wrecked there. That's a pretty good engage for Nightmare, and he has the reinforcements, but there's the SCVs here already getting pulled into this battle. And he's just trying to fight these stalkers. No zealots with this, even a or slow zealot or 2 slow zealots would be kind of nice here. He's going to utilize a few probes to trigger these widow mines. And yeah, he has that bunker, so it's very difficult to engage into this position here for Nightmare. He's taking a third base, he's trying to get up a robo. He has the map control right now, but it's super flimsy. It feels like Maru could push out at any moment. If he puts the SCVs with this, he's gonna have an easy time there. Comes down a little bit to the force fields, but I feel like he should have a really good time if he fights with the SCVs. Oh, and Maru is gonna pick up all the units. For Marines, I'm gonna shoot down the pylon here. And there's still 3 adepts waiting for their time. I wonder when they come in. Right now Maru is at home with a good chunk of his units, so those adepts probably wouldn't do anything. Triple drop across the map though is gonna find that base very undefended. Not a lot of map vision here for Nightmare. And that's gonna cost him with the Nexus, I think. Yeah, he's gonna lose that one. Immediately picking up here, dropping into the main base, it seems like. Twilight on the way here. Did he lose the Twilight? No, he doesn't have Blink. He doesn't have any Twilight upgrades, so he went into Colossi range before Twilight, and I'm not sure if that's the way to do it. So I like the Colossi, yeah, but before the range you might want to start up your Twilight, try to get a charge at least, so you have something to deal with these units until your Colossus count is up and ready. Because right now he has charge lots, but he doesn't have charge. Like, he has zealots, he has 5 zealots, they don't do anything, 6 even, with no charge, and that's quite some time away. Needs to start it as soon as possible. You don't know. Okay, he's getting Blink. Like, how many stalkers do we have? Let's count. Oh, he actually does have 5. So it's not the worst, I guess, but he has none in the main army. He has more zealots, and I feel like, especially with the Colossi right now, you don't want to go blink, you want to go charge here. And also considering that his Twilight was very late, and charge is a fast upgrade. I think it only takes 100 seconds or something, so it's gonna be faster than blink. You want to chrono boost that as well. Like, you really need to bolster your army quite a bit, even though he lost that natural base. You can't just try to expect that your opponent is gonna let you sit there and retake that. He's gonna attack you, so what are you gonna try to do? You're gonna try to muster a very formidable force. With a half-done blink, that's not gonna be any use. And those slow zealots, like, slow zealots are way worse than blinkless stalkers, if that makes sense. So, I really think going into blink is a big mistake. He could have had charge, like, almost finished if he would have chrono boosted that and gone for that. And I feel like against the tank push, charge shots are just way better, right? Because they will charge in, they will direct friendly fire into the Terran army. This doesn't really look like anything that Nightmare can hold. Does have a disruptor though coming in. Maybe he gets a miracle shot, I guess. It got miracled by the tanks. And there's Vikings as well to push back the Colossi. He did get Colossi range, but remember what I said when he did get that as well. Even though I think it's a very important upgrade, maybe, just maybe you want to emphasize on getting out charge for your effing zealots, which he still doesn't have. Like, maybe you want to get that Twilight Council a little bit earlier, because it does give you so important upgrades. And now Maru's just roll of stomping over Nightmare here. He's gonna bring a mouse pad and gonna have like the old ones with the balls inside, and he's just gonna take the ball out and he's gonna roll over Nightmare with that one, because that's gonna be GG here. Maru takes it serious. A roller bowl.